Hello, my friends. I am Alexandria Nicole. I'm super excited to be here again with you guys. I am joined today by Amanda Eric. She is a part of the How Money Works brokerage. Super excited to talk all things financial literacy with her today. How are you, Amanda?
I'm doing great, Alexandria. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really looking forward to hearing from you and sharing your stories about financial literacy. So tell us a little bit about the brokerage that you partner with to help ensure that people understand finances and how to go forward from there.
Yes, absolutely. So financial literacy is a big passion of mine. It is something that I would love to see more of in our community. So I partnered with a company called WealthWave and How Money Works, and they have come out with a couple of books that we're really excited to share with everyone out there. So 3 years ago, they came out with a How Money Works book, and it covers all sorts of different financial concepts and strategies that honestly we really should have learned in school, but we didn't. And so that book has been amazing. It's gotten such a great response. And then we just came out with a new book called How Money Works for Women. And it is so great. It talks about all different stages of a woman's life and the different things they have to consider that are different from men. So whether it's, taking care of children or adults, whether it is getting divorced, becoming a widow, outliving spouses, you name it. There's a lot of different scenarios in here, but it's really informative and really inspiring.
Yes, I love that. And we do have a very specific struggle that we have to overcome, right? When we're in the workforce, regardless if we're entrepreneurs or if we're employees, we have a lot more to overcome just to sustain, right? We touched a little bit on it backstage about women have to contend with the wealth gap and pay wages and children and mom guilt and like all the things, right?
I know there's so much of it. And that's why we needed a book specifically written for women. These are some of the things we know that we tackle and we know we have to face, but people don't necessarily talk about a lot. They don't talk about the amount of money women lose out on because of the wealth gap over the course of their life. And it's something that we really do need to talk more about and educate our community about.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So what inspired you to go down this path to empower people, dealing with their finances? How did that come about?
Yes. So I was raised in poverty with a single mom. We were on food stamps. I was a latchkey kid. So I very much experienced scarcity and lack in my childhood. And, seeing my mom struggle, being a single mom with 2 or 3 jobs to help support us and make sure we had everything we needed, she would have benefited hugely from having more education provided to her on how to handle her finances. And then I grew up, I went through life, and I got married young and then got divorced. And that was another situation where I did not have the education or tools available to me to really understand how to start fresh on my own, not have a dual income, be able to figure out where do I go from here? And so it wasn't until a little bit later that I realized we just need more women in the financial industry to help women going through these situations. I mean, how many single moms out there could really benefit from this education to help them figure out how to save for their kids, how to save for their future? How many people are getting divorced that would really benefit from a support system and people who can guide them to how to, grow their wealth on their own? There's so many different people out there that need our help. And so I was very inspired to enter into the industry and be able to increase the literacy across the community.
And really, we come from a generation of women a lot of times where they relied solely on their husbands to pay the bills. And it really wasn't a type of thing of where it was, let's have a conversation about our finances together. It was the care of the bills, and a lot of times the women had to learn how to write a check if their husbands passed, which is something that, you know, we do typically outlive our male partners. So that's what happens a lot of times. It's like we are completely in the dark unless we're forced to be independent due to our circumstances, and then become accountable for where we are financially. Do you see a lot of that situation even now? Because if that's where we came from, that's kind of the situations we were born into, that's obviously going to trickle down. So even in today's generation, do you see that kind of mindset, like just like, no, that's the man's job? Or
yeah, we are seeing a lot of that. And, you know, another reason why women in the financial industry are so important is we're still seeing now couples going to a financial advisor, a financial planner, generally men, because they're still dominating the industry. And the financial advisor is talking to the husband directly. He is not talking to the wife. He's not including her in the conversation. It's basically just man to man. This is what I'm doing with your money. This is how we're going to increase your retirement. And like, that is such an uncomfortable experience. You're like, I'm in the room too. This is just as much my money as his. Like, why are we not all having this like conversation together? And then there's also still plenty of women who are stay-at-home moms who currently don't have their own accounts. Everything is coming through the husband. So it's all a joint account. It's all like the money that he's creating. And if something happens in that relationship, they don't have the necessary tools and resources needed to be able to go on their own and be able to separate themselves from their husband, because they don't have those accounts, those safeguards in place. And that's something we really try to help educate women on. Like, no matter if you're in a relationship or not, everyone needs their own accounts. Like, it will just make things so much easier, you know, based on whatever the future may bring.
Right. So you mentioned that in a lot of cases, people come in and you guys are even there as advocates for women coming into the financial space and allowing them to feel valued in the situation, allowing them to feel seen in the room, as opposed to it just being directed at the husband, right?
Right.
So what type of ways do you help these couples or help individuals move forward with their financial planning? So what kind of services do you guys offer to make sure you're helping with that financial literacy and then to expand their portfolios?
Absolutely. So yes, you are correct. We try to create, and me personally, it's very important to me to create a very open and safe and compassionate space for people to come in with whatever hardship they're dealing with. I get a lot of clients that come in with guilt, shame, avoidance, all of those things around their money. And I want to validate that. I totally understand where they're coming from. And I want to create a non-judgmental space for them to come with that, and then be able to help them, you know, move on to the next phase of their financial situation. So, you know, what we do is we figure out where they currently are with their money. What are their financial goals? What do they want to accomplish with their money, short term, long term? That's the most important thing. We have to know, you know, do they want to retire early? Do they want to put their kids through college? You know, so many goals out there that they can have. And then we make recommendations based on those goals and based on where they're currently at and where we need them to get. So whether it's helping them with debt management, paying down debt, maybe they just moved jobs and we need to move some money around so it's in a more secure place for them to be able to control how it's invested, lower their fees, things of that nature. Life insurance is huge. If you are a family, if you have debt, any of those things create an insurable need for you, and it's all to protect your family if something happens to you. It's also an incredible way to create generational wealth too, which I know a lot of families are very passionate about. So we educate them on all of those different things, how to save money on taxes, either now or later, based on the type of accounts they have their money invested in, you name it. So we very much are a one-stop shop. We can help people all along their financial journey. And the goal is to build a relationship with our clients. We want to be able to meet with them at least every year, keep up with them, find out what's going on, what's new in their lives, and make sure that we, you know, change up the plan accordingly so that it's following along with all the milestones that are happening in their lives.
Oh, that's so good. So it's a longevity in the partnership, right? Because it's not a short-term thing. We're literally going to be dealing with money for the rest of our lives, right?
Yes, seriously.
So typically when you're partnering with somebody, you want to partner with somebody that you can trust and that you feel comfortable with and that you can feel vulnerable with. And I imagine there's a lot of mindset work that you probably unknowingly do because, you know, it just depends about the circumstances in which they grew up in. What type of money language do they have to overcome? What type of roadblocks do they have? Just like for me, when I was growing up, we grew up in the South and you did not talk about money. Like, but that's just pretty much the standard culture across the board, right? I don't think it was specific to my family at all. I just think it was the culture of my money is my money and we don't talk about it and don't ask me. And money, so essentially what that does is that creates this narrative around money being that money's taboo to talk about.
Right.
So how can you have a healthy relationship with money with yourself if your parents are resistant to talking about it? Or how can you grow up to have a nice, healthy conversations with your counterpart if it's never taught how to discuss it? You know, we homeschool our daughters, and one of the things my husband and I got our daughters, because we're kind of overcoming those, you know, taboo. We're both from the South, so it's like, don't talk about money, right? Or I have plenty of money, we're fine. And so that's not the case when everything comes out, you know. But we bought them a book about financial literacy, and we loved how it broke it down, and it's really simple. It's simplified so children can understand it, because we want to have conversations about money. We want them to have a totally different relationship with money that we essentially had and then had to overcome to be able to have those peaceful conversations about it. So I imagine you see a lot of that where you have to even maybe start with mindset work before you actually get to the planning. Do you see that a lot in your office?
I do. And one of the questions I ask every client of mine is, what is your current relationship with money? And an extension of that was, how are you raised around money? I am not a mindset coach. I'm more on the practical side of money, but I have amazing business partners and referral people that I send clients to if they need to go deeper into their mindset journey or maybe their financial trauma journey. There are amazing financial therapists out there that can help you heal the traumas that might have happened in your childhood or adulthood that are still subconsciously in your mind. So I do like to identify what their mindset around money is, because that can help me better customize and personalize a plan for them and make recommendations that I know they might be able to stick to, knowing if they're coming to me with avoidance, they don't want to look at their money, they don't like budgeting or whatever else, I'll make some recommendations to go along with that than just, hey, you should just be aware of your money and check it out all the time. Like that's something they have to kind of work on and figure out. But the awareness is the most important part. If they can become aware of their relationship with money and really think about it, then they can understand kind of what the next steps are to get past that so they can stop being in whatever financial cycle they may be caught up in.
Absolutely. And I didn't even know that was a thing, a financial therapist.
Yes.
Really think about it. Yeah. It feels like it makes total sense, right? Like it's imperative to there's some traumas that we have that are emotional that we have to really look at ourselves and do the work on. Yeah. And there's some that are grounded in financial struggle too, that we need to unpack and that we need to work on before we can heal and really elevate. So it makes sense.
Yes.
I just have never heard that title before. That's really interesting. So you outsource to those people sometimes. Yes. If you have someone come across you, there's some really major blockers in place and they need to overcome that first, and then you are the next step.
Definitely. So, and we can work together too, because I can still make recommendations and help them put a plan together for their financial goals. But we identify that there's other work that needs to be done. And that's where those amazing coaches and therapists come into play to help them unpack those mindset blocks, those limiting beliefs around their money, the trauma they've gone through. I mean, people don't always know what financial trauma looks like. It could look like growing up in poverty. It could look like bankruptcy, divorce, financial abuse. There's all sorts of things that can be a traumatic experience to someone that they might hold, deep inside and don't really think about, but is absolutely controlling how they utilize their money. And if they don't heal that or take care of that, then they're going to just be consistently doing the same thing and not getting any further along in their goals or, their journey.
Oh man, so good. You guys, this is amazing. Stay right there. We're going to be back in 30 seconds. Thank you so much, Amanda. We will be right back, you guys. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you to our sponsors over at Mom Owned Business. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys. Now, Amanda, that is so amazing. We were talking about how people really have to sometimes overcome limiting beliefs. I see that a lot too when I come into people's lives and they're ready to pivot and start to invest in themselves and start to build their own businesses. I see a lot of times that sometimes, there is a mindset blocker there, right? There's those limiting beliefs about what they could be capable of, and having that hard time finding the confidence within themselves. Maybe they've been berated through their lives, or maybe they don't have the education they feel like they need to have. So, I'll see it manifest a lot of times in people, chasing a bunch of certificates, or once I get here, I'll be worthy enough, or those type of actions, instead of really just taking the leap, investing in yourself and building the business and the brands that will help you live the life that you want to. So I am also not a mindset coach, but I do outsource those people, because sometimes, and I'm sure you see this a lot, sometimes it's a matter of, okay, there's some deeper work that needs to be done here before you can come to me. So there are times where, there's a little something there and I can help them overcome the mindset of, the limiting beliefs that they may have. But sometimes when it's really deeply rooted within the foundation of who they are, sometimes it's better to have that person visit with someone else and overcome those issues before they can come to me, because I can give you strategies on how to make money and how to win. But if you don't believe you're capable of it, you're not going to move forward with our strategic planning. So it's the mindset piece. It shows up in every field.
Everything.
It shows up in everything. Yes. So how long have you been with the company and doing the financial literacy work and helping people in this way?
So I've been doing this for 2 years now. Like a lot of people in 2020, I realized that the career that I was in before, which was clinical research, funny enough, was just not where I was meant to be. It was not where my passion was. And so I immediately thought about becoming a financial advisor, simply because, again, of my experience and all of the financial hardships and things that I've had to learn on my own, and just wanting to be able to help for that in the future. I was lucky that I could start doing this part-time, so I could, get my proper licensing, get trained, make sure this was the right fit for me, and then become a full-time licensed professional and really be able to help families and individuals just reach their financial goals.
Oh, I love that. So what would be one of the challenges that you had to overcome when you were pivoting and switching, changing the course of your life? And what was something that you overcame to keep moving forward and being able to help people in this way?
So I have always been a 9-to-5 employee, W-2. That was my experience for the last 13 years. So going from something like that to becoming an entrepreneur, to owning my own business, is a very terrifying step. You are used to systems, you're used to a boss, you're used to structure, and none of that exists on the other side. And so it's very easy for a lot of things to creep in. Can I succeed? Imposter syndrome, you name it. So not only was I trying to overcome just the large jump from a very secure, safe type of role to something that isn't secure or safe, but something I'm passionate about, you know, that is a really hard thing to do mentally. And so I really just, my why and, you know, why I'm doing this is what really kept me moving forward, what really was motivating me to want this business to succeed, to go out and educate and help everybody, because I'm truly passionate about it. And I just want to see people out there succeed and to get out of, you know, paycheck to paycheck cycles or credit card cycles or you name it. So yeah, I really just had to think about my why and then just learn, you know, what it is to run a business and to be your own boss.
Yeah, that's so true. You know, it's funny. Literally every episode we have, systems come up. Yep. Because they're so imperative to the success of a business, essentially. Mm-hmm. And that is the difference between being on the other side, like you said, is we are the ones that have to put the systems in place, as opposed to working for someone else and the systems are there and it's just like, these are our expectations. They're all mapped out. They have gone through all the trial and error and they know what systems to put in place and they know how to scale their company. But on the other side, we have to essentially be responsible for those systems and, you know, accountable for our own success and how far we will soar. It's all on us now. Yeah.
You either have to see if what other people are doing and if that is succeeding for them, if that's working for them and kind of duplicate that, or you kind of just have to, like me, I kind of had to figure out on my own, you know, how do I maintain a schedule? How do I just like make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do on time and all of those other things. During this journey, I realized that I absolutely am ADHD. Like I'm ready to go get a formal diagnosis, but it's all there. And that's another challenge in and of itself, being a business owner and having that, because the systems or the ideas that, you know, business coaches and other people tell you aren't built for people who have ADHD. They have to come up with completely different processes to keep them focused, to keep them on schedule, to keep them organized. And so that was an additional journey that I was going on as I was building my business, was not only do I need to figure out how to run my business, but I also need to figure out what things I need to put into place to keep me from just like going all over the place and not being able to focus.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm telling you, there's something about owning your own business and being the primary problem solver for every situation there is. We're at the core of it. That really helps you evaluate the areas that you need to be better, right? Yes. It really reveals a lot to us about who we are, our temperaments, our boundaries, our threshold, like our bandwidth, our capacity to handle stress. Yeah. Because you have to step, and it's so crazy because it's our business, it's our baby, we're passionate about it, but we also have to take a step back to really evaluate it objectively, right? Yes. And that takes we have to become really disciplined in more ways than one, right? So was it in you developing your own business to where you realized you were ADHD because you changed from kind of a structured environment that someone put in place for you that you could just essentially do all those tasks and you were fine, and then when you had to pivot in directions and now you're the one responsible for all of the moving parts, you realized I'm struggling because of XYZ, and then you came to the realization that it was ADHD. Is that how it unfolded?
Yes. So definitely as I was going through trying to figure out how to structure my days, how to get the things done I needed to get done, you know, I have the ability to work from home. I also have an office not too far from me that I can go into and work in as well. So I have kind of a hybrid schedule right now. And I noticed when I was at home, I was constantly getting distracted by other things going on around me. Oh, the laundry needs to get done. Oh, this needs to get done. And I was utilizing like really important business time doing these other things and not being able to sit down and focus. So I was like, okay, I need like some timers or something to like keep me on track, kind of like the Pomodoro method. I actually found some like amazing little like cube timers that can really like visually help you say, okay, 30 minutes, I have to stick to this one task, and that's what I need to focus on. And then another thing I learned was that I couldn't rely on digital systems for tracking my my progress or for to-do list or whatever, because I'm a very visual person and it needs to be right in front of me. And digital apps and all of that are tucked away in your phone. So when it's whiteboards, it's to-do list, it's like paper journals, whatever it is. Once I figured out that I needed those systems, that really like changed the game for me. And that really allowed me to utilize my time wisely, be able to focus on tasks, complete projects that I start, which is another thing that people with ADHD, they love to start, but like finishing something's a bit more difficult to do. So those were the things I was discovering as I was going through that.
I love that. I love that you created your own plan to be successful though, really, because you didn't want to, the old way wasn't working anymore. It was time to toss that out. Like I am a lover of whiteboards and big calendars because I am like you in that way where I have to have it in front of me. And I have whiteboards everywhere because I'll have an idea, like we're doing a holiday initiative and I'm like, I'll have an idea about I need to connect with this person to make sure this initiative is good. And then I'll switch thoughts and I'll say, I need to tell my team to update this aspect of our podcast. And it's like all notebooks and whiteboards and just like so many streams of consciousness. But I love it because I don't feel bound in my creativity, right? We develop these systems to allow us to really show up in the full essence of who we are and not being put into a box. It is so fantastic.
And that's the best part of owning your own business. It's your own personal journey. It's however is going to work best for you. So, if that means putting particular systems or processes in place, that is going to help you succeed and help you be able to do those daily activities that move your business forward. You have the flexibility and freedom to do that. And that's what I love about owning my own business.
Oh, I love it too. I love it too, man. It's so good. So tell the people how they can contact you. And you actually have a special offer for our listeners and our viewers today. So tell them about your free consultation offer.
Yes. So I love to have phone call consultations with any potential clients just to learn a little bit more about you, to learn about what your financial goals are or whatever issues you're having right now that I may be able to help you with. And then my amazing offer to everybody is I am providing financial reviews to any of the listeners for absolutely free. And it is 2 one-hour meetings. The first meeting is where we get to know each other and I learn about your financial situation, learn about your goals, and take an inventory of your finances as they are currently. The second meeting is for us to get together. I instill some amazing financial education around various topics and make recommendations based on what your situation is and what your goals are so that you have a plan on paper that you can follow and that can help you, get to the next level with your finances. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can text money to 813-763-4303. And then I'll be happy to schedule that consultation call with you.
So exciting. So exciting. And tell them, we got a few more seconds left. Tell them about this conference that you're hosting in Denver. You guys are launching a book as an organization. Tell them about that.
Yes. So October 28th from 12 to 3 at Left Hand Brewing in Rhino, we are having the How Money Works for Women book launch, and we're going to have amazing women-owned businesses there as vendors, gift bags, raffle prizes, food, drink, you name it. It's going to be so much fun. So we hope to see you there.
And guess what? My book is going to be in one of those raffle prizes too, you guys.
Yay!
So we are Alexandria Nicole Consulting. We are one of the raffle sponsors for this amazing event. We appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this, and it's so important. It's something that we really believe in. So we are happy to be a part of it. So yes, you guys, you reach out to Amanda, and thank you so much, darling. Thank you for your time. We will be in touch, and thank you guys for watching, but don't go anywhere because today is all things finances. You stay right there. We'll be right back with our next guest, Giovanni. Thank you guys.